So hi everyone, it's been another fantastic week for Kounotori. Lots of fantastic things going on. I think it's probably best to note that we've remained pretty resilient given the wider market conditions and what we've seen going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum in the last sort of couple of weeks. So we've held our own very well given the circumstances. And then, of course, we've also seen the incorporation of shares into the donations, which you guys have gone above and beyond. I can only express how blown away I am by what we've seen from the donations. And I'll obviously go into Bitmart and where we are going into next week. But I thought I'd better just touch down on the fact that we should. I believe that we confirmed a date where we'd be looking at trying to distribute the shares, sort of going in September. The final date I think was September 1st. I think we'd put out an announcement for where you'll be able to qualify for the current share giveaway that we're looking at doing. But it's a fantastic opportunity. It's really exciting and something that we wanted to do because, as I say, we were so blown away by the donations. We thought that, to incentivize and give you guys a bit more reward, that it'd be an amazing way of bringing people not only into the token and the goal of the project, but also bringing them into the fold of the company itself. And it's a tremendous opportunity to be a part of something really ambitious, something amazing that we're putting together. So hopefully that's something that you guys have appreciated. Obviously, elephant in the room, of course, Bitmart is on the horizon. Very, very close indeed. We'll obviously be paired with USDT. It's fantastic for a number of reasons. Obviously, it grants the project a bit of legitimacy, establishes us as a true project. Hopefully we've got that reputation already, given that we've stuck around and we've done multiple AMAs and talked to you guys with the coding team, and hope so. This is just part and parcel from an outside perspective to demonstrate, that we are in this for long term, and it's a long term goal, long term project. But giving the ability to purchase Kounotori, with another form of currency with fiat on an exchange, I think it's a tremendous sort of catalyst and an amazing milestone for Kounotori. I can only think back to, perhaps 2 years ago when I was first, trading cryptocurrency. It wasn't something that I was doing, on Trust Wallet or MetaMask. It was, I was doing it solely on exchanges. So there is definitely a target audience there. We've already had a lot of interest and a lot of messages about, when we're listing and how excited people are. So it's great stuff. Obviously, the main goal also is to provide, additional volume so that we can get the exchange built. We can produce, the exchange a bit quicker than initially desired. Obviously, we've spoken about lead times with you in previous AMAs. We want to speed that, and this is definitely a way of doing it. We've got a number of different ways of doing this also that I can't quite yet talk about, but I'm sure we can talk about soon. We're in talks with people. I better not say too much more, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. That's all I'll say. Obviously, as well, none of this would have been possible without you guys and the collective effort that we've seen from the community and as a whole. It's, as I've said before, it's absolutely been just, I've never seen anything like it, especially as a developer or working within a project. It's amazing. You guys have gone above and beyond. But in an effort to promote this fantastic milestone and catalyst, we've also got Arthur. I think he was hoping to join us and speak a bit about marketing himself, but I think he's just being held up a little bit at the minute. So I can obviously go through that with you guys. But himself and Panda have been working hard, and a number of the KTO staff on putting together a bit of a marketing push for next week. We've got on the Monday we've got Crypto Gems, who's a YouTuber. He's putting out a video review talking about the project and the token, what it entails, you know, tokenomics, basic stuff. And then we should have a bit of a Twitter and socials push as well, and organising a bit of a raid, which is fantastic. All sort of community driven. Then on the Tuesday we have the Cryptotainment. They are creating another sort of token and project review, pushing on socials, and once again introducing and telling people about the project, what it entails. On the Wednesday, Crypto Gems returns, doing a bit of a video about Bitmart and the limited company. Obviously, this is a day before the listing, so that's perfect timing. And then we also have, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, I think it's Daishin, doing another video review of Kounotori. Then on the Thursday, we have a number of YouTubers putting out various videos, 3 of them to be exact, and a community raid, hopefully helmed by a number of us developers. I'm not sure if I should be there, hopefully, but we are doing a bit of a community raid and a bit of a hangout, sort of chill out, talking about Bitmart and discussing things with you guys after pushing socials and doing a bit of a raid with you guys. On the Friday, we have Crypto Gems returning again and doing a bit of a sort of community achievement, running over the impact of the centralized exchange listing from Bitmart, and then talking a little bit about development as well as a number of social pushes that we have, socials pushes going on the Friday as well. So in terms of marketing, these guys have done a fantastic job for next week. There should be plenty going on, and plenty that we'll be posting within Discord and Telegram for you guys to jump in and watch and check out. Also, we have a number of token events running this week and into next week. Very exciting stuff. We obviously have the buy comp, which I will have to double check on the date. I think we'd set it for ending on September 3rd, just before midnight BST. And then also, which by the way entails of a 3% buy tax instead of 10%, so it's a massive reduction. That is going on until the listing date on September 1st. And then going on for an additional week. So it should be going on till the 7th. I apologize. Yes, for additional week, and then we'll be running to 6% buy tax. And then following that week, it will return back to 10% tax. Now, the idea of matching Bitmart's taxation just for the week of the listing, I think, is fantastic and a nice incentive to match that price point as well. And then, obviously, as I say, we have the buy contest as well going on at the same time. And so there's lots of interesting events that we have going on currently to keep you guys occupied and interested while we're able to deliver you guys news. And briefly as well, sorry, it's been lengthy progress report. You're probably sick of listening to my voice, but really quickly, I'll just say as well that on the development front, I was lucky enough to witness a demonstration by Tech Alchemy of the initial sort of pathways of setting up an account and going through KYC. It's all being put together. They're in the back end stage of development of Sprint 2. So what that means is they're now just sort of finalizing things, and hopefully we should have a demo that we can interact with, us as developers, by next Tuesday. Following that, if all goes well, and we obviously will give them feedback and see if there's any problems. But following that, I will keep you updated. But hopefully, we can, by the next AMA, have a live demonstration of all of these functions working and present it to you guys with Tech Alchemy there as well. So there will be about to answer any centralized exchange related questions, development related questions also, which I know you guys have enjoyed in the past. They're an amazing team, really knowledgeable, and absolute vast array of knowledge between the team. So on the development front, there's a lot of stuff going on as well, and I'm really excited to share what they've been working on. And so all in all, a brief summary is there's a lot going on. It's very exciting stuff. There's a lot that we're yet to announce. It's probably a bit too early in some of the stages of discussion to announce things, but all I'll tease is that there are things being worked on in the background for Kounotori, and there's some exciting stuff coming up, as well as, of course, all the exciting news that we have coming the next week. So, stay tuned. But I think that's pretty much it for sort of project report. Sorry if it's been a bit lengthy, but there's been a lot to cover. Johan, can you think of anything to add to that?
Nothing in particular, really.
I think we covered quite a lot there.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to jump in with questions or type questions within Telegram or Discord, then I think we can answer some questions.
Yep.
One question about shareholders and becoming a shareholder, just quickly.
Okay.
My main concern, or one of my questions, was in becoming a shareholder, what is the predicted turnover for KTO Exchange in the first year? Or do you know how much you're going to charge tokens? Because obviously, if we're going to invest money, it's a bit different with investing into crypto. Obviously, we're investing into a company, so we need to know firsthand. Well, I would like to know, what am I investing in, more or less?
I think we'd definitely be able to give a much more realistic figure. I'd say if we were given, say, a couple of weeks or at least enough time to work out how exactly we are distributing these shares. Obviously, at the moment, we're doing it 1-to-1. We are gifting the shares at the minute, and obviously, no matter how shares are distributed, the percentage will remain the same going forward. But I think on that question, so that I could give you an accurate answer, I think we just need a little bit more time. It's still very early stages of being able to distribute the shares. I think unless you could come up with a better answer, and I think we'd need a little bit more time to give a proper feedback to that sort of question.
Yeah, I think this sort of information will come together with sort of an official offering of the shares in the future, together with the full proposal and everything.
It's okay. It's only, okay, that's fine. There's just more to the point about the financials, because obviously, as I'm sure you can understand, there's a bit of a difference with investing into companies, and I would have thought is that you would have had that in order, obviously in offering shares already, but that's one of obviously the things that is one of my concerns. And will there be obviously with the other opportunities in buying in, will they be soon? Obviously, because I know that you're going to be finishing up in September. Well, the 1st of September is when we can't buy any more shares for the time being.
Yeah, what we will do is we will offer more events and more opportunities to be gifted shares. As I say, at the minute, all we can do, because we can't specifically trade them, it's still very early into the phases of setting up the company itself. I think what we were hoping to do with this was reward. We had already seen extensive donations come in, and people wanted to see, you know, Bitmart become a reality. That's fantastic that we were able to do that. But what we wanted to do on top of that was offer, you know, some of these larger donations that were coming in. We wanted to, you know, reward those donations with the ability that we can, you know, at the minute we can gift shares. We have the shares just initially set up. So to give you an, as I say, to give you an accurate sort of price prediction right now, I couldn't really do. I could suggest if you looked at, you know, a volume of various other exchanges, and if you compared, you know, if we were to even, you know, if we were to even have, you know, 0.01% of trading volume of someone like Binance, it's not even, you know, overly ambitious. You know, the shares could become worth a very significant amount of money. So I rather than sort of coming up with a number now, I'd rather we sort of look at that properly. As all things concerned with the projects, I don't want to give numbers away without giving them, you know, due thought, or giving the process enough time to actually give you a realistic answer.
I appreciate obviously that. I just was more coming. That's all I was. My concerns were, but I think it definitely was a good decision to do, because obviously it incentivizes the community to be more a part. So I definitely think it's a good thing. I just mean for buying more than one share, that was the angle I was more coming from. But no, I think it's a really good thing, obviously.
That and obviously we've got a number of shares set aside, you know, for investor opportunities. That's obviously part and parcel of setting up a business. That's something. It's far too early to really take that too seriously. We'd need to obviously make quite a bit of progress in development before we'd have something, you know, considerable to sell to larger investors in the company. We'd need to have a lot more than what we currently have to, you know, especially from an outside perspective. For yourselves, you guys have been interested in investing in this project, and you understand what we're selling and what we're, you know, looking to build. But from an outside, you know, opportunity, taking say half an hour to look at it, we're putting together a you know, a speech and a demonstration. You know, we'd need a lot more to be able to sell that, but we've definitely talked about that. We definitely have plans, and it's something we've spoken to Tech Alchemy as well about. So yeah, in time, especially as development progresses, that's definitely something that we'll look at doing to incentivize you know, help in building the exchange and interest in owning shares. But currently, we just thought it was a fantastic way of bringing, especially in this very early stage, of bringing, you know, loyal and really, what's the word? Really active community members. You know, we thought we'd reward you guys with early shares and a stake in the company itself, not only the token. So yeah, as I say, I'd love to give more details about it, but I wouldn't want to mislead or give an incorrect answer. All I'd say is we're in early stages.
No, I appreciate that, because obviously it makes the community feel more part of the company. It legitimizes Kounotori. You know, I fully understand where you're coming from. Is there, with the exchange as well, is the ETA still going ahead as planned with a roadmap of when we'll have when we'll first see it and when it will be out for this winter?
Well, the roadmap that we gave, I think it was 2 AMAs ago, and I spoke about, obviously we're working at a very sort of minimum pace, where we were working minimally to try and keep things going and have development working, you know, rather than try and delay things. When we saw that significant market crash, was it 3 months ago? So we've managed to obviously kick off development. Hopefully, we should be allocating more developers. That's part and parcel of having something like Bitmart as a catalyst. What it will do is it will increase volume and hopefully help us increase that developer allocation. It's something that we've spoken to Tech Alchemy about. They're very, very flexible. But as I say, from the dates that I provided prior, they were obviously lengthy, but that was working at that minimum pace. What we should see in the next couple of months, granted all these various catalysts and all these various talks and all the potential things that we could have, pushing Kounotori, all of these things go right, I would not be surprised at all if we can allocate a lot more developers onto the project and therefore speed things up. As soon as that happens, I will give you guys a updated version of the roadmap. But as I say, I would not be surprised at all if things speed up considerably. So, yeah, I think we've been as open and honest as we can be about development as it currently stands. It is happening. It is going forth. We are being given updates, and they are actually indeed ahead of schedule as well, which is fantastic. But as I say, we're working at sort of minimum capacity to keep things going. That should change.
It's always a good thing, is that when you're working ahead instead of working behind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's all my questions, really, unless anyone else has any.
Oh, fantastic stuff, Future. Yeah. Cheers for that. Important questions as well. If anyone else has any questions, let me just try and get Discord open.
Could tell us a story, Martin.
A story. Oh.
Do you have an idea of how many tokens will be listed on Kounotori Exchange?
A specific number, I couldn't tell you. I know Adrian could tell you. I can tell you that liquidity provided is $25K in the form of Kounotori and $25K in the form of USDT. That's something we're taking care of. And then we've obviously had a considerable amount of help from the community in providing the listing fee itself. And as I say, it provides a heck of a lot of opportunities for us. It also opens a number of doors for us in terms of outreach and awareness. But yeah, in terms of actual tokens on there, I couldn't give you unless Yoan knows the answer. I couldn't give it myself, I'm afraid.
Well, I think his question was actually like how many tokens, as in different types of tokens, will be listed on our future 6 when we launch it.
Oh, I apologize. It's been a
I'm
long
not
day.
sure that's just my interpretation of it, to be honest. But you've answered a different question that people might be having.
That would make sense. If indeed that was the question, in terms of how many tokens would be launched on exchange, we're obviously looking to initially list the the usual suspects, all the larger tokens. That's something that we have detailed with the proposal with Tech Alchemy. So obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and all these various other coins. But then also we will be working with early partnerships with trusted tokens in the lead up to releasing the exchange. We're already in talks with people. I can't mention anything, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. But hopefully I will be able to mention more about potential partnerships going forward. But it's far too early, I'm afraid, to officially confirm anything. There's still things being worked out. But yes, we are working on partnerships and promotional opportunities as well that will benefit the exchange.
Panda asked a question in Discord.
Okay.
Will we see an updated roadmap in development soon?
Well, like I say, I'm hesitant to release the roadmap that we have obviously shared with you guys and spoken to verbally about. I can do it, of course, but I think the understanding and the response I got from the AMA when I did was there didn't seem a whole lot of point when the variables could change quite quickly. I can certainly do it though, just for in the interest of honesty and being open with you guys. I remember I also talked about what exactly was going on in the various sprint phases as well. That's something I can certainly lay out for you guys. At the minute, we have it in the form of a spreadsheet given to us by Tech Alchemy. But as I say, the only problem with doing that is that I think that quite quickly that whole roadmap can be changed quite significantly. Sorry, with increased developer allocation. Whether or not we could have a live version of the roadmap is something that I have discussed with them, in which we can alter the dates but provide you guys with like a live version of it, as opposed to supplying you guys with various PDFs and files. I think that could be the way to go potentially.
Hey Martin, it's Nappers. Just real quick, I want to say, just for clarity around
sure.
that is just more of I think a better timeline in just putting when you use terminologies like phase 1, phase 2, sprint 1, sprint 2, I think defining that in a roadmap-esque document, I think is what the community wants. Is like, okay, when our devs say we just completed sprint 2 of phase 1, not everybody works in coding and programming or understands agile.
That's a very fair point.
And so they don't know what that means when you use the term sprint. Well, okay, what does that mean? Because that's very tech language. I think that is something, maybe not dates, but at least something that they can follow along contextually.
That's a really, really good point, and definitely I will look into that. And I think, you're totally right, and this is the reason why you guys are so fantastic. That's brilliant feedback. What we will do on the back of that, and on the back of your question, Panda, I think it's Panda's question. Yes, I will get on that. Obviously, we've been quite preoccupied with Bitmart and various other things going on. But I will get on that and provide a visual roadmap for you guys to look at sooner than later. Because absolutely, as you say, even if we can't give 100% accurate dates, then at least providing you guys with the what's going on in the various sprints. And giving you guys a rough idea of when things are being completed, then that would definitely be beneficial for you guys. So absolutely, I'll look into that definitely. Do we have any more questions?
I'm joining late. I just have one question I was supposed to ask around marketing. What the fuck are those marketing people doing?
What are those marketing people doing? Well, we should have, like I say, we should have some fantastic stuff coming next week. We should have a number of YouTube videos coming on the Monday through to Thursday, and then obviously we have Bitmart Listing Thursday as well. We've got a number of community raids organised in the week as well as we're talking about, in terms of videos, we're talking about token and project reviews, as well as discussing development and talking with us about what's happening in terms of various sprints and clearing that up with you guys as well. So should be a lot coming next week.
All right, this is actually a serious question, and let me know if we have to wait for Adrian to answer this. So few people waiting on. I'm going to say that as few because I know it's myself included. To seeing the legal documentation around the share issuance. Have you guys discussed or what? When do we start sending those out? When do we start putting pen to paper and signing those?
We should be working on it. Sorry, I didn't realize it. Sorry.
No, because I know I'm literally just sitting waiting to see the documents so that I can figure out exactly where I'm throwing thousands of dollars just to see the documentation. So if you guys have any preliminary around that, thanks.
Well, hopefully what we should be doing during September. Obviously, as I say, we've got a number of things to deal with until then. But during September, we should be able to obviously get all this sorted and go through the necessary sort of what's the correct word? Not doxing, but the necessary documentation needed for listing people as officially as shareholders. It's something that we should be able to give you guys more insight into, I'd say, at the beginning of September. As I say, we've still got this deadline for the 1st to be able to qualify for a share in Kounotori or multiple shares. But until that's finished, I think we'll most likely give a sort of update in the first week of September and then look at distributing within September also. Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully that's if not, then obviously we're open to feedback and criticism, and we can work at speeding things up or looking at providing it in a more an easier way. But as far as I'm aware, we are starting work on that early September in terms of distribution.
How much? Yeah, I think how much is the correct way of saying it. How much shareholder involvement will there be on decision making?
Yes, of course. When we're talking about the company setup and shareholders will obviously be given, the benefits of being a shareholder in the future. Once the company is properly established and set up, then of course there will be benefits such as dividends being provided. There will of course be shareholder meetings taking place, but I think part and parcel of the company itself is also giving investors into the token a input into the company. So of course, yes, there will be that aspect of being a shareholder, and of course you'll have input over decisions made, but also we will have that available for the centralized exchange, as we've talked about in the white paper, via the Nest Council, and any investor will have a say in the shape and the form the exchange takes, what changes need to be implemented, what improvements need to be made on the centralized exchange. But yes, of course, as a shareholder, you will have a say in the vision of the company and how the company is handled. Yes.
I just want to add on to that and clarify that the Nest Council and the shareholders are going to be separate. Like by buying a share, you don't automatically join the Nest Council. Like those will be different. They will have different influences and different sort of groups that they will access.
I appreciate you clarifying that. Is it like a Congress, like a House of Congress and a House of Senate? Is this like checks and balance type shit?
John just tagged you in the Discord with the explanation of the stock transfer form.
Oh, sorry, what's this? I'm a bit confused. What were you asking about? What the setup would be in how the Nest Council is arranged? Oh, I'm not sure.
Sorry, was that a question for me? I'm driving on the highway
yes.
and then also flipping between screens here. Not suggesting
absolutely.
anyone do this. what was the question?
Sorry. So sorry. With your question, were you asking what the setup would be within the Nest Council and how that would function?
Yeah, like is it like we have here in the States? You guys, the executive team, make up basically the executive branch, the president, and then we have our legislative branches, the Senate, aka the Nest Council, and then the shareholders, which is the Congress. Is that what you guys are trying to set up?
I think the idea behind the Nest Council, and obviously there's room for change and room for things to adapt as we're continuing to work on. There's been changes that we've implemented, to the build of the exchange within the last month or so. So things continuously evolve and adapt. But for me, the idea of the Nest Council is to give any investor in Kounotori a voice into how what tokens are listed, what changes need to be made to the centralized exchange. We can do that with polls, and there can be benefits to being in the Nest Council, and unique sort of cosmetic differences that you can achieve. As I say, the idea is to give everyone a voice within, but also have all of that take place on the exchange, not necessarily on Twitter or Discord or Telegram. We do that currently, and we will continue to do that. But I think the idea behind the Nest Council is to have all of these things integrated into one place, bring the community over to the centralized exchange also, and have the opportunity for them to shape and mold what the exchange needs to be. And as I say, which tokens that they favor and want to see listed.
And just to add on to what Martin was saying.
Sorry.
The Nest Council will be more oriented towards the decision making and the development of the centralized exchange itself. And the shareholders are going to be more towards the business side of it. Like the Nest Council, for example, is going to be responsible for the tokens that list on the centralized exchange and that sort of stuff, while the shareholders are going to have like a heavier vote on the business side of things, like big partnerships and so on.
Right. Okay. I get what you're saying. So, like, if you guys wanted to go out and buy another exchange to increase user base, that vote would be put to the shareholders. The Nest Council could fuck off.
I mean, that's one way of putting it, but yeah, that I think that decision would come down to those involved in the company over the exchange necessary. Obviously, if there was integration, or if the two from that scenario were to merge and it would affect the exchange in some way, then that would be a decision for the Nest Council and us as the developers, and we'd offer multiple options and opportunities. But yeah, in that scenario, of course, yes, then it would be more down to the shareholders and the business side of things. Yeah.
Cool. I like it. I think the more decentralized, or the more thin you make power in a company is the correct way to go about it. So I appreciate you separating the business from the community aspect of it, but both giving them avenues for their opinions to make influence, but keeping the lanes separate. So I suggest staying down or on that track.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, and as you say, with decentralization, you have that community aspect, and that was what we were sort of setting out to do, was to bring the best of that decentralization, community sort of orientated, take the best sort of aspects of that and put it into, you know, a well-regulated, well-established, centralized exchange that we can build together with Tokyo Alchemy and stay ahead of the curve and be, you know, not be liable for any massive laws or regulations that sort of shake things up for cryptocurrency. We'd be you know, okay in that circumstance, being a centralized exchange. Obviously, we have to keep an eye on things. It's the reason why a number of the services on our centralized exchange will be, you know, run with microservices. That allows us to change things quite quickly and implement necessary changes. That's something that Tech Alchemy are very familiar with, and will probably be able to answer that a lot better than myself in the next AMA or whenever you guys want to ask those questions. I'm sure I can ask them for you. But that is the idea, that we are bringing that the best aspects of decentralized cryptocurrency that we've seen, and implementing it into a safe and secure way of earning staked currency and ongoing return. And also, you know, building something really quite exciting, a new opportunity for tokens like ourselves that started off, you know, with little help. It offers, you know, legitimate projects that are trying to do things the right way, you know, with a way of listing on a centralized exchange that isn't overly priced, that isn't, you know, taking horrendous transaction fees on every single transaction, and, you know, is aiming to do things fair. So hopefully that's answered your question.
Quick question about the NFT, the Golden Ticket NFT.
Yes.
Could we have a little preview of that if possible?
I'd love to. We are still working on it currently. We've got the benefits sort of worked out between us. We're still determining that. Most importantly, we need to determine the final benefits with Tech Alchemy and make sure everything's okay. But yeah, we will very soon, hopefully, be able to give you a sneak preview.
Okay, back to the boring bit of the company. With obviously, because Johan, yourself, and Adrian are the developers, obviously, of Kounotori. Obviously, KTO Exchange is slightly different. It's not a token as such. Obviously, it's an actual company. Will you have a board of people as well as yourselves on that? So people obviously who have experience in running an exchange. From an investment point of view,
Yes,
obviously, in buying shares, it'd be good to know if these are in your plans.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be part and parcel of you know, making sure that we are making the right decisions and having, you know, as we do weekly or bi-weekly, you know, with these AMAs, you know, we like to run things by you guys. We'd implement the same thing with the company, of course, and make sure that we're being advised correctly on the decisions that we make with yourselves and for the company. Yeah, of course.
That's the shortest answer you've ever given.
Yeah, I know.
Break in there. See, short and sweet.
I don't do it often. Right, well, let's have a quick look on Discord, unless you guys have got any other questions. Let's have a quick look. Oh, well, there we are. G's actually shared a concept of the golden NFT. That is the golden NFT. There you go. Right, apologies. I'm just catching up on what's going on in general. My Discord's loading horrendously slowly. Unless anyone has any additional questions, I'm just trying to see if there are any on general. I think we've covered quite a lot. Hopefully you guys are satisfied. As I say, it's an exciting week next week. We've got a lot to work out within the next couple of weeks. We've got a lot of interesting things going on in the background, a lot of things to be ironed out, but without teasing too much, that we are working on partnerships and additional promotions that are really interesting. Now, obviously, Bitmart is happening next Thursday, which is very exciting. I've talked about what that means for Kounotori and what that means for us as a community. It should help with outreach, should help with establishing us as a project, and it should be a fantastic way of alternatively buying Kounotori, and should help speed up volume and development times as well. And just to touch on that question that was mentioned earlier, that was a very fantastic point. And yes, the roadmap, I will work on that. Obviously, it's something I've talked about before, and we've got it in spreadsheet form. But honestly, I will be honest with you, we've just been so incredibly busy with a number of different things, involved with the project, that it was put on the back burner a little bit. But yes, I will get on that definitely. And that's a very good point that I think it was Nappa's mentioned about sprint terms. That I take for granted that perhaps stating what happens in each sprint on AMA, that's not good enough. You guys need to see a graphic or something that demonstrates that clearly. So yes, we will get on that. So I'll make sure that that's my job over the weekend and going into next week, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. As I say. Oh, sorry, apologies.
Hey, no, y'all good. The marketing people didn't say they're doing anything, so just send the information over to them. They got nothing to do. They can.
They're on it. They're on it. We've got some good stuff coming next week. You'll have to see. You'll have to wait and see.
I think that just really quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, the net value of the share is only £1. Obviously, at current market rates, and charging $1,000 for it. Would there be any discount if you bought multiple shares within the company?
That's obviously something that, of course, yeah, that there'd be deals that we'd work out in the future, but as of now, I couldn't determine that with you now on call. But yeah, of course, there will be opportunities for larger purchases of shares, considerably larger opportunities. As I say, we've set aside a significant amount of shares for exactly that purpose and to help us develop not only exchange, but also, as we've stated on the website, we've got a number of things planned following the exchange as well, or incorporated into the exchange afterwards, that obviously investors and distributing shares for larger investors as well would be a fantastic opportunity to make those things come to reality. So yeah, of course there'd be deals in the future to be had. Again, I'd like to stress that the idea of the gifting shares currently was that we were seeing these donations come in, and we really wanted to reward these people that were donating a considerable amount of money. We wanted to give something on top of that back to the investors. As I say, it's a fantastic opportunity, and as I say, if you looked or compared share prices to various other different exchanges and thought about the volume that we could have potentially on our exchange, then it all equates to something quite exciting. So it's a fantastic opportunity, but it's also a fantastic way of rewarding and bringing the community into the fold and bringing them into the company as well as the token and the project.
Gaming just asked a question within the Discord and
Okay.
said, well, I know you don't like speculation, but what price do you expect from the Bitmart listing?
From the Bitmart listing, the starting price, you mean? Upon listing?
I think what he's trying to get at is at what price do you think KTO will get to on the Bitmart list? Sorry, with Bitmart listing.
Well, all I'll say is, obviously, and you're quite right. I don't like to speculate, mainly because I don't want to mislead anyone. But what I will say is that we've had a number of people interested in, buying into Bitmart. There's a number of people who I've spoken to who, prefer using exchange. They prefer, putting not having to deal with, or having responsibility for their own wallet and the security concerns that entails. Some people, it's just too complicated. As I say, when I initially started with cryptocurrency, I was a bit overwhelmed with it myself. So I was purely on exchanges. So there's a significant audience in which listing on an exchange like Bitmart that has, over 9 million users. You're tapping into a significant market there, and I think once people recognise, the token for what it is and what we're building, and obviously you guys have been in the project long enough and understand what we're building, who's behind the development of it, and the team of coders that we have, there's huge potential for growth. It's not a small undertaking what we're doing, but it's certainly exciting. And I think this is a way of achieving outreach and spreading awareness of what exactly we're building. All right, guys. Unless I can't see any other questions on general, just look quickly on Q&A. I think we're good there, guys. We've been going for about an hour. That's pretty decent. Unless anyone wants to jump on call and ask a quick question, I think we can pretty much wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the AMA. Hopefully there's been plenty to answer and some good questions and some good feedback, some good reminders as well for me to crack on with some other stuff as well. So it's been very productive. Very good, guys. As I say, we should have Tech Alchemy on the next AMA and a bit of a demonstration as well, which would be good, which would be exciting. I'll confirm that with them on the Tuesday. We should, as I say, be going through with our developer account sign-in and initial pathways. Roadmap, I'll get back to you. I'll sort something out in which I can perhaps demonstrate what minimum capacity is and what exactly the timelines are, what each sprint entails as well. I'll put something together for you guys, and I think we've covered a lot there. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Johan, are you still here, my friend?
Yeah, of course.
Are you still here? Yeah, I think we can wrap it up there.
Yeah, I think it's been very productive. Answered a lot of good questions.
Okay, guys. It's been fun. Appreciate you coming. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.